DC Essentials, better than Batman, Gotham Knights, and Titans. To celebrate my 250th video, we looked at red and black Nightwings. Now, for episode 350, we're finally figuring out which 7-inch blue and black is best. Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation, where I review action figures and then articulate 5 points to help you decide if you want to add that figure to your collection. The 5 points I discuss are packaging, presentation, posability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and if you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube rigmarole. Starting off with the packaging, and I don't have the box of the DC Essentials blue and black, but I still have the red and black. It's nice and colorful, has a number, nice clear product shot on the side. I know I rave about this every time, but I genuinely like how this series looks when you line them all up. And then on the back we get another product shot, a bio of the figure and a summary of the line, and other available figures. Gotham Knights is mostly a straightforward DC Multiverse box. That said, it does include the Gotham Knights logo on the side. It also shows you other available characters, and the back showcases some genuinely good figure photography. Just look at how the lighting and everything comes together on that. The ones that really fascinate me are these two. This was McFarlane's first swing at a collect-to-build line. Back then we were building a Batmobile. The sides are unchanged, but whereas the Batmobile wave prioritized the artwork of the figure you're getting, recent build lines prioritize artwork of the Build-A-Figure. They also have much more thorough instructions. Also, remember this artwork because we're going to be revisiting it. Oftentimes I go with the DC Essentials, but not now. I like these because they're more colorful and involved, they show you what you're getting, and what else is available. Gotham Knights does all of that, has superior figure photography, and game-specific branding instead of just being a generic box. For packaging, this round goes to Gotham Knights. Moving on to presentation, and from shortest to tallest, they range from 6 3/4 inches all the way up to just over 7. At first blush, Essentials seems to be the most faithful to the comic, itself being little more than a painted body, a body that was reused for pretty much every male character in the line, and was notorious for its long, gangly limbs. Even so, I do appreciate the slight wrinkles in the fabric, the fact that this figure got his own uniquely sculpted gloves, and this head sculpt, which is my favorite of the four. That's not taking anything away from this head, of course, it's very good, and in general, this is a good all-round Nightwing. Notice the similar gloves to Essentials, only McFarlane went in and painted the buckle. Same thing with the boot straps. That said, McFarlane also went in and added lots of extra panels and texture. Additionally, because this is part of the earlier runs, the wrist and ankle balls are particularly egregious, but it still gets lots of praise from me for being an all-original sculpt. One big missed opportunity, however, is that there is no blue in the rotator cuffs, which really breaks up the design. It's actually an even bigger problem on this newer Titans version. Unlike Better Than Batman, this one returns to being more of a basic bodysuit, though it still does have a few minor flourishes. This one is reuse of John Kent's Superman. Looking closely, you can see some telltale residual sculpting. Nowhere is that more evident than the ankles. I really like the design choice of having the blue go all the way down the arm to his fingers. That's taken directly from the current comics, and I really love all the personality in this head sculpt. After Essentials, it's my second favorite. My least favorite head has got to be Gotham Knights. It's important to remember though that this is based off of the Gotham Knights video game, and as such there is a lot of sculpted detail here. Because of the symbol going over the shoulders, you don't really have that rotator cuff problem, but there is still lots of little patches of blue punched in throughout. The costume has lots of different lines and panels, more of that running down the legs. One of my favorite things about this figure is how the waist articulation's been executed. McFarlane's diaper system really doesn't work for characters who wear bodysuits, but with this jacket going down it looks a lot more natural. I do think that the sneaker-like white soles do kind of stand out for a stealthy character, but again, that's the game design and McFarlane did a great job. Of course, one of the things Nightwing is the most famous for is his booty, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Titan suffers from its unpainted rotator cuffs and its John Kent reuse. Better, by contrast, is an all-new sculpt, but loses points for the unpainted rotator cuffs, the oversized wrist and ankle balls, and the over-detailing. Knights is also over-designed, but perfectly represents his appearance in the game. Even so, despite the reuse, I like Essentials. Yeah, the reuse is frustrating and the arms are long, but when I think of Nightwing, this is what I picture. Just a guy in some simple blue and black tights with nothing else needed. And again, this is the best head sculpt of the bunch. For presentation, this round goes to Essentials. Moving on to Posability, and of course the three McFarlane figures will be fairly similar. Already there's a difference with Essentials, with his head being on a ball joint and a disc hinge, and the others being on dumbbell joints. They can look up this far with Essentials and Titans having the edge, and they can all look down this far, which is fairly equivalent, but with Gotham Knights being a bit gappy. That gappiness gives him the best tilt of the bunch, followed by Titans, better than Batman, and then Essentials with no tilt at all. Moving down in best arm range goes to better than Batman, then Gotham Knights and Titans, with Titans having a slight edge, and then Essentials, who can't even raise 90 degrees. The McFarlanes have rotator cuffs, but you don't really get a whole lot out of Gotham Knights. Better than Batman is slightly better, but Titans really has the edge in this department. That said, all four of our contenders have bicep swivel, all four have double jointed elbows, with the deepest bends going to Titans followed by Gotham Knights, but whereas Essentials has wrists that can only swivel and hinge up and down, the other three have wrist balls that can swivel and then hinge either up and down or side to side. The best range of the three goes to Titans. Moving to the middle, and Essentials has an ab crunch and a waist swivel. He can arch back this far and hunch forward this far. The other three have diaphragm joints and dumbbell waists. Doing the limbo, and Titans is the clear winner, followed by Gotham Knights and better than Batman, hunching forward, and none of them are anything to write home about, but Titans does still get the edge, followed by better than Batman and Knights. Of course, thanks to that waist cut, the only thing Essentials can do is swivel side to side, whereas the three McFarlanes can swivel and tilt, with Titans once again having the edge. Below the waist in Essentials has ball jointed hips. They allow him to kick just about 90 degrees and do a pretty good split. Of the three McFarlane figures, better than Batman actually has the best kick, followed by Knights and Titans. Best split, however, goes to Knights, then Titans, and then better than Batman. The biggest articulation advantage that Essentials has is his thigh cut. Unfortunately, neither Gotham Knights nor better than Batman get much of any twist in that department, but for a DC Multiverse, Titans is pretty impressive. Traveling down the leg, and best double jointed knee goes to Gotham Knights, followed by Titans, with better than Batman and Essentials being fairly comparable. Essentials, of course, has boot cut. The other three, however, have toe articulation, but all four have ankle balls that can swivel, hinge, and pivot. As a former acrobat, articulation is very important for Nightwing, and while none of our combatants have bad articulation, one definitely stands out from the pack. For Posability, this round goes to Titans. Moving on to Playability, and Nightwing's primary weapon are his Escrima-sticks, and by far these Gotham Knight ones are the biggest and most elaborate. They've got extra painted detail on the tips and the handles, and they really look like they give you a solid beatdown. That said, better than Batman's aren't to be trifled with either. They're a bit smaller than Gotham Knights, and while they don't have any extra paint, they do have extra sculpted detail. Honestly, I think an argument could be made that these might be better. As much as I like these ones, it looks less like he's fighting crime and more like he's directing air traffic. Almost anything would be better than these Essentials ones, though. They're so small and flimsy, they might as well not even exist. That brings us to Titans. This figure notoriously is missing his Escrima-sticks, and doesn't even have open hands where you could give him somebody else's. The ironic part is he has them on the trading card, and remember from packaging when I said we'd be coming back to this? Not only is it because of the Escrima-sticks, it's also the exact same trading card as Better Than Batman. It's not even the same costume. It's an interesting opportunity, though, to note just how much flimsier the trading cards are now, and how less informative. Gotham Knights, of course, comes with his own trading card, and all three DC Multiverses have figure stands. Better Than Batman has a sliver of the Batmobile in McFarlane's one and only Build-A-Vehicle attempt, whereas Titans has the torso of Beast Boy. That said, a couple of these figures do have an added feature. While DC Essentials can do nothing but hold up his tiny Escrima-sticks and beg you not to hurt him, Gotham Knights and Better Than Batman can actually store theirs on their backs. But Playability's more than just Escrima-sticks or the ability to store them. It's also about how well your figures play with others. With Dick Grayson being the first Robin, it only makes sense we'd start with the latest. The shorter Damian was made by Mattel. Hopefully at some point McFarlane makes one that better scales with other DC Multiverse figures, though you can get him with a more realistic head as part of the Bat Family 5-pack. As for my favorite Robin, and here we have Tim Drake. Once again, the shorter one is from Mattel. It's unfortunate that the McFarlane one is so tall and so stylized. Until I can finish my custom, I think I'll be sticking with Mattel. For the second Robin all grown up, and here we have Jason Todd as the Red Hood. The one with the logo came in a 2-pack with the red and black version of this Nightwing. The other one is from 3 Jokers, which reuses its lower extremities. Next up, and here we have a couple of video game versions. The one with the open jackets from Arkham Knight, the one with the brown hoodie is from Gotham Knights. With one of our competitors being a video game version, it just made made sense to include them. Here we have a couple of Batgirls. The tall one is from the same build-a-wave as this Nightwing. The shorter one is from 3 Jokers, but just like Red Hood, they have the same legs. For a couple of purple Batgirls, and here we have Essentials and Gotham Knights. Even by Essential standards, the Essential Batgirl is pretty tiny. Again, with one of the Nightwings being from Gotham Knights, it just made sense to bring these out. Which Batgirl color scheme do you prefer? Sound off in the comments. This finally brings us to Batman himself. Starting with black and gray, we've got Detective Comics 1000 and 3 Jokers. Detective Comics, of course, being from the first wave of DC Multiverse, and 3 Jokers being one of the most popular. For a couple of video game versions, and here's Arkham Knight and Arkham City. Personally, I think this Nightwing looks great with either. I brought these two Batman out to go with this video game Nightwing. This one, on the other hand, might be a bit too comic booky. For a couple of shorter Batmen, and here's Rebirth and Page Punchers, this Nightwing might work with Page Punchers. Same with this one, but this one goes pretty decent with Rebirth. And then for a couple of blue and gray Batmen, here we have Nightfall and Hush. With this one, the height's great for Hush, but the blues are a great match for Nightfall. This one's a bit too stylized for either, and while this one might be a bit short for Hush, I think with Nightfall it's a pretty decent match. Lastly, for one of this former Robin's greatest rivals, and here we have Deathstroke. I honestly love both of these Deathstrokes, and I think either one of them would look great with this guy. The Arkham Knight one being a video game, this might be a more appropriate pairing, and this might be a good time to remind everybody that Deathstroke is canonically pretty tall, so the height difference is okay. For a relative scale comparison, here we have Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man. Obviously, none of them is going to be scaling well with Marvel Legends, but he should be a good match for your Marvel selects. And honestly, I'd love to see a crossover between these two characters. Until that day comes, here are all of our Nightwings with Stealth Iron Man. Without so much as an Eskrima stick, there is no way Titans gets this round. Gotham Knights is great for the Eskrima stick storage, but mainly only works with other video game characters. So, based on his weapons, weapon storage, and ability to scale with a greater variety of figures, for playability, this round goes to Better Than Batman. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. Essentials will set you back anywhere from $30 upward, but usually goes for about $45. New in box, Better Than Batman goes for $75 upwards, whereas Titans is still available at retail for $25. At the time of this recording, though, you can get Gotham Knights on Amazon for as low as $15. For price, this round goes to Gotham Knights, who wins the battle 2-1 to 1-1. In my personal opinion, however, Better Than Batman might just be the best you can get. In fact, the Batman Family 5-pack version is a lighter blue that matches the Titan's head, has the painted rotator cuff, and goes for about $35 on eBay. As for 6-inch scale Nightwings, that's a conversation for another time that I'm going to need to build up to. In the meantime, we'll just have to tide ourselves over by checking out this. Tune in next week, same bat time, same bat channel. If you like this video, check out one of these. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.